Hey everybody, Dave Clark, aka the Pattern Guy. We're doing something way different today. Something I wasn't planning on doing, something I never thought I would do. Mrs. Clark's getting on me, basement's getting to be a wreck. One of the biggest reasons, I got a ton of scrap down there. Ended up, we have over 36, 37 contractor's bags full of aluminum cans. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do the biggest can melt on YouTube. As of right now, the biggest one I can see is about 8,800 cans. We got close to about 33,000 cans. We're gonna melt them. We're gonna melt them in my backyard. We're gonna use wood and hopefully get them all melted up for you. Oh man, not enough, dude.
How's that?
I don't know, we'll see.
How's that?
Oh, dude, it's not enough. Come on, man. Dude, still not enough.
How's that?
We'll see.
How's this?
I don't know, man. I think we need more. I guess it's gonna get it.
How about this?
I think we can do a little more.
I can't move any more cans.
Oh, dude.
Is this enough?
That's it? I guess, man. Tell you what, though. Can you move them all over a little bit, though? Oh, come on.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's no way I'm doing this. This is gonna take too long.
Dude, come on. We got to get this done. Man, now what are we going to do? All right, guys, like I said, that's something I didn't think I'd ever do. It's a couple things with melting cans. Okay, a lot of people say do it, don't do it, is it worth it, you know, things like that. To me, you know, I paid nothing for these cans. Some came from my house, buddies of mine been bringing them over. This is about 3 years worth of cans. Okay, I got space in my basement that I can store them, although that's running out. One of the biggest things I wanted to do, one of the more efficient ways to melt cans, is to bale them first. And I did have a baler at one time. Here's a bale that I did with my baler. Okay, that baler broke. I started making another one and I never got around to finishing it, and it's just getting to the point where, you know, 35 bags of cans is just getting a little too much here. So the reason you bale them is when you melt metal, you want the least amount of surface area that you can. If I just throw a can uncrushed into this furnace, it's just gonna disintegrate. It's gonna turn into, it's gonna oxidize. Okay, so you want the least amount of square, or not square footage, the least amount of surface area. Okay, so this depletes your surface area hugely doing them this way. Plus it's easier in the furnace we got down at the foundry too, because trying to throw a can in there, it just blows out into the air because of the, you know, hurricane force of that blower down there. Okay, so a couple things I've seen on the internet is, you know, to make this more efficient. A lot of people say, is it worth doing? Is it worth not doing? To me, it's worth doing, okay, because not only, I'm not going to take these ingots, we're making ingots, we're not going to take these ingots and take them to scrapyard and sell them. That would be totally, you know, to me, by the time you take all the time to do this, you're going to lose a lot in the, when you scrape all the dross off, you're going to lose a lot of dross and stuff in here. To me, you know, I'll take those ingots and make castings out of them. Okay, so one of the things we did do, we have probably about 1,000 pounds of cans that we're going to melt. I'm kind of figuring we're going to get about 750 pounds of aluminum out of this that I'm not going to have to go buy. All right, so what we did measure one of the flasks that I made, and what it turns out to, if we could sell those for what they go for on the internet from foundry supply companies, it's $10,000 worth of flasks that I'm not going to have to buy. I'll be able to make them home. So I'll have $10,000 worth of flasks that I didn't pay for, although it's, you know, it's going to be my time, but you know, that's a different thing, you know. So a couple things, like I said, you get a little dross off of these. What I do, and this is one thing I keep on mentioning down at the foundry, use flux. Okay, we get a link down below where you can get this flux. It's really inexpensive. All right, kind of looks like this here, and just get it by the pound. It's, I can't remember which one. I get a couple different kinds, so I can't remember. It's really inexpensive. All right, that helps with the dross. We don't get as much dross. I really had a big notice with it with the brass and bronze, when we use a flux and when we don't. Okay, so you want to flux it. The other thing, what we're doing, what a lot of other guys don't do when they're doing this in the backyard, what we did was we made a big crucible. I made it out of a half of a propane cylinder. We cut it apart. Okay, made a crucible out of it. That enables us to take a whole shovel full of cans and shovel them in at one time, and then we're just going to take a ladle it out, put it into ingots. A lot of times what you see a lot of other guys do, they shut their furnace down, get their tongs out, lift their crucible out of the furnace, you know, dump out what they got into the ingots, put their crucible back in the furnace, start loading up cans one at a time. Okay, we're able to put a whole shovel full of cans in at one time. We're going to start ladling this out into ingot molds. I don't really have a good ladle, so a buddy of mine, one of my customers, lent me one that's got a hole in it. So I've got a small one. It takes 3 ladles to, you really shouldn't do that if you're casting, but we're just making, you know, ingots. I don't care what these ingots look like. They're coming out. They're not really that great looking. I'm not selling the ingots. Like I said, I'll remelt these down the road for my thing, so I really don't care what they look like. But this is the more efficient way to do it. You know, having a bigger crucible, using a ladle. You don't have to touch the crucible. All right, you got to skim it off every once in a while. Just take ladles full of aluminum, ladle it into the molds. You know, that's about it. So we'll get to melting some. We'll show you some of that. Okay guys, so we're making this video on melting cans. Is it worth it? Is it not? So what we ended up doing, we made a basic furnace out of just some, it's not fire brick, just the landscaper blocks. And we ended up making a crucible out of a propane can. I just cut that off, welded some legs on it. Personally, I mean, it wasn't bad. We ended up doing 38 cans, or 38 bags of Can Zero crushed, 1,000 pounds, over 1,000 pounds. It failed twice, got some holes in it, had to weld the holes up. It made it through it, but you can, if you're really serious about this, what I would do, I'd just get like a 16-quart Dutch oven. They're like under $100, cast iron. That'd make an awesome crucible too, you know. We tried wood. Wood was all right, didn't get up to temperature. If you use ash or something, maybe that might work, but you know, just what we had wasn't getting up to temperature too much. It was all right, but not too much. But the other major factor that we had here, we have a product called kale wool. We ended up cutting the size of the crucible out of the middle, and then the kale wool went around the rest, so all the heat couldn't escape. You know, it kept the heat in around the crucible in there. Okay, and then for a blower, we just used an old blower from an old water heater, put a tube on it. That was our blower. So you can do something simple like this. You can get a little bit more fancy. You can go buy you know, one of the got a lot of furnaces off the internet and that, but like I said, with those, you know, they're limited on size, so you end up, you know, having to do things by hand too much, taking the crucible in and out. That's where you waste your time. So something like this wasn't too bad, you know. So if you have this stuff, it didn't cost too much for all the products for it. Okay, everybody, we're gonna wrap this video up. It's been taking quite a long time. Joe's got probably about 15 hours on this thing. I got about 24 hours on this. It's been taking us a couple months to do this too. We do a couple hours here, a couple hours there, a couple hours there. Okay, a couple of reasons I did this. Biggest reason I did it, I had 38 bags full of cans that I had to condense down to something smaller. The other reason I did it is looking at all of the YouTube videos of people that, you know, is it worth melting your cans, making ingots, or is it not? Okay, so this way you're going to get a professional, you know, view on this thing. I've been in the foundry business for over 40 years. I think the way it is, the way we did it was we had the bigger crucible, and what happens was we had the crucible in the fire pit, started melting the metal in there, and all we had to do was dip a ladle in and pour into the ingots. Whereas a lot of guys, what they do is they have a smaller crucible, they put the cans in one by one, where Joe and I were putting them in by the shovel full, and then they got to shut their furnace down, take the crucible out, pour their ingots, put the crucible back in, light their furnace back up, and start adding cans one by one. Like I said, we were adding cans by the shovel full. I think it was taking us maybe 15-20 minutes to melt all the cans at one time from one bag. We just put them in a wheelbarrow and shoveled them out of the wheelbarrow. Okay, so that's one of the things. Is it worth it truly to melt cans down? To me it is. All right, if you're gonna melt them down and just take them back to the scrapyard, definitely not worth it. There are some guys that melt them down and sell them. They make pretty good money on the internet on them. What I'm gonna do with these things, we figured raw cans, we had, I think it was 1,000, got the stats here. We had 1,080 pounds in raw cans. Okay, so at the time we first started this video, we could have got $365, I think, if at scrapyard, if we would have taken those back. Okay, so through this, we'll go over this real quick. Through this, we ended up getting over 644 pounds in ingots, and they're about 4 pounds a piece. Okay, the scrap we got, we did two kinds of scrap. What happens was we were melting with wood. We were trying to figure out an efficient way to do it. The wood's not the efficient way to go. We couldn't get it hot enough. We started using charcoal. That worked. I think I spent $75 worth of charcoal. Okay, so when we were melting with the wood, we ended up getting about 203 pounds of dross. That's got a lot of aluminum in it. I'm gonna remelt that. Okay, and that's over there. We'll show you closer up. Okay, so when we started melting, and this is an important thing too, and I think this is where a lot of guys watching videos is they don't get the metal hot enough, and they get a little anxious. They want to pour their ingot molds, you know. And when we got the metal all the way solidified, molten really good, you know, we were pouring really good looking ingots and everything. I was getting barely any dross off of them. Okay, and then once we turned over to the wood, you know, we weren't getting everything up to temperature too much. You know, that's when we were getting a lot of dross with aluminum on there. Okay, so we're gonna remelt that. But the dross scrap, what I'm gonna take back to the scrap yard, there's 211 pounds. So I'll end up probably getting around Probably $100 for that. I'll let you know in another video what we do with that stuff. So to me, getting back to is it worth it, is it not? For me, we figured there's what I say $365 worth of scrap cans if we took it back to the scrap yard. However, one of the products that I make some aluminum flasks. So we weighed one flask versus a conservative estimate of how much I get for them. We can make, with aluminum that we got, the ingots that we got here, I can make $10,000 worth of castings from the cans that I melted. So for me, it definitely was worth it. All right. Another thing is, it's fun. You know, playing with molten metal, it's dangerous, but we have a lot of fun with it too, you know. So that was my take on, you know, doing the can melt, and see if it's worth it. If it's not, you have to make the determination for yourself if it's worth it for you or not. Like I said, it definitely is for me, but if you're taking them back to the scrapyard, it definitely isn't worth it. You know, so anyhow, I hope you guys had some fun with this video. Joe and I had some fun making it, and like I said, hopefully we'll take some of these ingots down to foundry, make some good products with it. You know, we'll show you when we do that kind of stuff down there, and have a lot of fun with that stuff too. So hope you guys had a fun time with this. We'll see you on the next video. Well, how do you think it went?
I think it went good. What do you think?
I think it went good, man.
Yeah, cheers. All right, throw yours in, let's start her back up. Oh, you and your bottles.
Oh, come on, man. You know, give me a break, Joe. Hey, wait, dude. Hey, these are aluminum. We can melt this, man. Ugh.